Karen hires fake HOA cops, triggers super soaker chaos. Hey there, drama lovers! Welcome back to HOA Karen Files, the one and only place on YouTube where we dive headfirst into the most outrageous, laugh-out-loud stories of Karens gone wild. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our crazy community. We're all about exposing the chaos of HOA tyrants, nosy neighbors, and suburban showdowns that'll leave you shook today. We've got a story so ridiculous, so over the top, it'll make your jaw drop. Picture this, a quiet, cookie-cutter suburban neighborhood called Sunny Hills, where every lawn is manicured to perfection, every mailbox is a dull shade of beige, and every neighbor secretly hates each other, the kind of place where you'd expect nothing more exciting than a heated debate over whose dog pooped on whose lawn. But oh my friends, Sunny Hills was about to become the stage for the most ridiculous, over-the-top drama this side of reality TV. A drama starring none other than Karen, yes, that Karen, and a pair of fake HOA cops who couldn't tell a badge from a bottle cap buckle up. Because this story has it all. A neon green water gun, a viral prank, and a plot twist that'll leave you cackling. Sunny Hills wasn't just a neighborhood. It was Karen's Kingdom Karen, with her bleach blonde bob, oversized sunglasses, and a permanent scowl ruled the Homeowners Association HOA with an iron fist. She was the kind of woman who'd measure your grass with a ruler and leave a passive-aggressive note if it was half an inch too long. Her driveway was spotless, her roses were award-winning, and her ego was bigger than the McMansion she lived in. To Karen, Sunny Hills was her personal fiefdom, and she was the queen. Every morning, Karen would stand on her porch, sipping her overpriced latte, scanning the street for any sign of rebellion. A kid's bike left on the sidewalk. She'd report it. A neighbor's Christmas lights up past January 1st. She'd write a 500-word complaint to the HOA board. Karen didn't just enforce the rules, she was the rules. And woe betide anyone who dared challenge her authority. Enter Tim, the new guy on the block. Tim was everything Karen despised, young, carefree, and completely unbothered by HOA regulations. He moved into the house across the street, a modest two-story, with a slightly overgrown lawn that made Karen's eye twitch. Tim had a mischievous grin, a wardrobe of ironic t-shirts, and a knack for pushing buttons. From the moment he rolled into Sunny Hills in his beat-up pickup truck, Karen had him in her crosshairs. It all started with the mailbox. One sunny Saturday, Tim decided to give his boring beige mailbox a makeover. Armed with a can of neon orange spray paint, he transformed it into a glowing eyesore that could be seen from space. The neighbors whispered in awe or horror as the orange monstrosity took shape. Kids on bikes slowed down to gawk. Even the mailman did a double take. Karen, of course, was apoplectic. She stormed out of her house, her heels clicking furiously on the pavement, and planted herself in front of Tim's mailbox like a general facing an enemy fortress. "What is this abomination?" she shrieked, her voice echoing down the street. "This is a clear violation of HOA guidelines. Beige, gray, or white, those are the approved colors. Orange, are you trying to ruin our property values?" Tim, leaning against his porch railing with a can of soda, just grinned. "It's just a mailbox, Karen. Chill adds some personality to the place." "Chill," Karen sputtered, her face turning a shade of red that clashed horribly with her pink tracksuit. "This is my neighborhood, and I will not have it turned into a circus. You have 24 hours to fix this, or I'll make sure the HOA fines you into oblivion." Tim shrugged, unfazed. "Sure thing, Karen. Whatever you say." But Tim had no intention of complying. In fact, he was just getting started. The next morning, Karen woke up to a sight that nearly sent her latte flying out of her hand. There in Tim's front yard stood a neon pink plastic flamingo, its beady eyes staring defiantly at her house. It wasn't just one flamingo. It was the gaudiest, most obnoxious lawn ornament Karen had ever seen, complete with a tiny cowboy hat and a sign that read, "Flamingo Fiesta." Karen's scream could have shattered glass. Neighbors peeked out from behind their curtains, torn between amusement and fear. This wasn't just a violation. It was a declaration of war. She grabbed her phone and fired off a message to the HOA group chat, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Emergency! Tim at 123. Sunny Lane has defaced our neighborhood with a pink flamingo. We must take immediate action. The chat exploded with replies, mostly from Karen's loyal minions, other HOA busybodies who live for her crusades. Disgraceful. Unacceptable. We need to find him. But Tim wasn't done trolling. By noon, he'd added a second flamingo, this one wearing sunglasses. By evening, a third appeared, holding a tiny margarita glass. The flamingos were multiplying, and Karen was losing her mind. She marched to Tim's house, banging on his door like she was auditioning for a SWAT team. When Tim opened the door, still in his pajamas, Karen unleashed a tirade that could have been heard in the next county. "You think this is funny?" she bellowed, pointing at the flamingo trio. "This is a respectable neighborhood, not a tacky theme park. Remove those abominations right now, or I'll make sure you regret it." Tim, barely suppressing a laugh, leaned against the doorframe. "Karen, they're just flamingos. Lighten up. Maybe you should get one for your yard. Might help with that whole permanently angry vibe you've got going on." Karen's eyes narrowed to slits. "You've crossed a line, Tim. You'll see what happens when you mess with me." As she stormed back to her house, Karen knew she needed reinforcements. The HOA board was too slow, and the real police wouldn't care about flamingos. She needed someone who could strike fear into Tim's heart, and that's when she found them. Karen didn't trust Google. She preferred shady websites with names like HOA Enforcers for HireCom, where she stumbled upon Sunny Hills Security Solutions. The site promised elite HOA enforcement by trained professionals who could restore order to your neighborhood. The price? $50 for a premium intimidation package. Karen didn't blink. She PayPal'd the money and waited. The next afternoon, a golf cart sputtered into Sunny Hills, its sides emblazoned with a poorly painted HOA security logo. Behind the wheel was Bob, a wiry guy in his 40s with a fake mustache that looked like it was glued on with chewing gum. Riding shotgun was Jerry, a nervous 20-something who kept adjusting his dollar store badge. Both wore mismatched uniforms that screamed costume shop clearance sale, complete with plastic sunglasses and walkie-talkies that didn't work. Karen greeted them on her lawn, hands on her hips like a general inspecting her troops. "You're late," she snapped, "but I'll forgive it if you get that flamingo-loving freak to comply. His name's Tim, and he's at 123 Sunny Lane. I want those flamingos gone, and I want him scared." Bob, trying to sound authoritative, puffed out his chest. "Ma'am, we're the best in the biz. We'll have this Tim guy begging for mercy in no time." Jerry, less convinced, muttered under his breath, "Bob, you said this was just a prank gig. Nobody said anything about flamingos." "Shut up, Jerry," Bob hissed, then turned to Karen with a fake smile. "Lead the way, ma'am." As the trio approached Tim's house, neighbors began to gather, sensing a spectacle. Kids on bikes stopped to watch. Someone started a live stream on X. Tim, lounging on his porch with a lemonade, spotted the golf cart and raised an eyebrow. This was about to get good. Bob and Jerry climbed out of the cart, trying to look intimidating. Bob adjusted his fake badge, while Jerry clutched a toy gun, a bright orange plastic pistol that looked like it came from a Happy Meal. Karen, standing behind them, pointed at Tim's yard like she was directing an airstrike. "You!" Bob barked, pointing at Tim. "You're in violation of HOA Code 47B, Section 12. Unauthorized lawn decorations. Remove those flamingos immediately or face the consequences." Tim burst out laughing, nearly spilling his lemonade. "Who are you clowns, the HOA circus? And what's with the toy gun? You gonna squirt me to death?" Jerry, panicking, waved the toy gun nervously. "It's, real. Yeah, totally real. So, do what he says." Karen, fed up with their incompetence, shoved past Bob and Jerry. "This is my neighborhood, Tim, and I'm done playing nice. Those flamingos are a disgrace, and I'll do whatever it takes to get rid of them." Tim, still grinning, pulled out his phone and started filming. "Oh, this is gold. Keep going, Karen. My TikTok followers are gonna love this." The neighbors cheered, some chanting, "Flamingo! Flamingo!" Karen's face turned purple. Bob and Jerry exchanged worried glances, realizing they were in over their heads. But Karen wasn't done. Oh no, she was about to take this drama to a whole new level. Karen stormed back to her house, her heels clicking like a ticking time bomb. She was done with Bob and Jerry's bumbling. She was done with Tim's mockery. She was done with the entire neighborhood laughing at her. If she wanted to win this war, she'd have to do it herself. She rummaged through her garage, tossing aside old yoga mats and a dusty karaoke machine until she found it. Her son's neon green super soaker water gun, a monstrosity the size of a small bazooka. It was the kind of toy that could drench an entire birthday party in seconds. To Karen, it was the perfect weapon. She filled the super soaker with water, slung it over her shoulder, and marched back to Tim's house, looking like a suburban Rambo. The neighbors gasped. The kids on bikes dropped their jaws. Even Bob and Jerry, still loitering by their golf cart, did a double take. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" Bob yelped, his fake mustache falling off in the chaos. "I'm taking care of this." "Anyway," Karen snapped, brandishing the water gun. "Tim, this is your last warning. Remove those flamingos or I'll blast them to kingdom come." Tim, now doubled over with laughter, could barely speak. "Karen, that's a water gun. Are you serious right now? You're gonna fight flamingos with a super soaker?" The neighbors were losing it. Someone yelled, "Go, Karen, go!" just to egg her on another posted to X. "Super soaker, Karen is my new hero." Drider, ho drama. Right, Tim's phone was still rolling, capturing every glorious second. Karen, oblivious to the ridicule, aimed the super soaker at the flamingos and pulled the trigger. A torrent of water shot out, but her aim was terrible. Instead of hitting the flamingos, she drenched Bob, who screamed like he'd been shot. Jerry, already halfway to the golf cart, shouted, "I quit, this ain't worth 20, and sped off, leaving Bob behind. The water gun misfired again, spraying Karen herself. Her blonde bob was now a soggy mess, her mascara running down her face. The neighbors roared with laughter. Tim, barely able to stand, narrated to his phone, "And here we have Super Soaker Karen, the terror of Sunny Hills, taking herself out with her own weapon." Karen, soaked and humiliated, dropped the Super Soaker and screamed, "This isn't over, Tim! I'll sue you! I'll sue everyone!" She stormed off, leaving a trail of water and dignity behind. The next morning, Sunny Hills was buzzing. Tim's TikTok video titled "Super Soaker Karen vs. the Flamingos" had gone viral, racking up 2 million views overnight. X was flooded with memes. Karen wielding her water gun like a movie villain, Bob's fake mustache floating in a puddle, Jerry's golf cart speeding into the sunset. The hashtag Dietrich Super Soaker Karen was trending, and Sunny Hills was officially famous. But here's the plot twist, and trust me, you didn't see this coming. Tim wasn't just a random neighbor with a penchant for neon paint. He was a professional prankster, a TikTok creator with a series called Trolling the HOA. The orange mailbox, the pink flamingos, the margarita-drinking lawn ornaments, all carefully planned to bait Karen into a meltdown of epic proportions. Tim had been studying Karen's HOA tyranny for weeks, knowing she'd take the bait. And boy, did she deliver. He'd even hired Bob and Jerry himself, paying them $100 to pose as fake HOA cops and escalate the drama. The toy gun, the golf cart, the terrible uniforms. It was all part of the act. Tim's goal wasn't just to annoy Karen, it was to create a viral masterpiece, and Karen had played her role perfectly. At a neighborhood barbecue the following weekend, Tim revealed the truth to a crowd of awestruck neighbors. "Y'all, I'm sorry for the chaos," he said, holding up his phone. "But I had to do it. Karen's been terrorizing this place for years, and I figured it was time to give her a taste of her own medicine. Plus, my TikTok needed some fresh content." The neighbors cheered, raising their beers to Tim, the mastermind. Someone even brought a new flamingo to the barbecue, this one wearing a tiny badge labeled HOA Sheriff. The crowd chanted, "Flamingo! Flamingo!" as Karen's reign of terror officially ended. Karen, meanwhile, was holed up in her McMansion, furiously typing complaints to the HOA board. But no one was listening. Her minions had abandoned her, too embarrassed to be associated with Super Soaker. Karen X users were merciless, turning her meltdown into a meme fest. One post read, When you try to rule the HOA but end up ruling the meme game instead, Trishonu Super Soaker Karen, Bob and Jerry. They were long gone, probably back to their day jobs at a car wash or a hot dog stand. The golf cart was last seen abandoned in a ditch, its HOA security logo peeling off in the sun. Months later, Sunny Hills was a different place. The HOA relaxed its rules thanks to Tim's viral expose of Karen's absurdity. Neighbors started painting their mailboxes in wild colors. Purple, teal, even glittery gold flamingos popped up in yards across the street, a silent tribute to the prank that changed everything. Tim's TikTok channel skyrocketed to 500,000 followers, and he was already planning his next prank. As for Karen, she quietly put her house up for sale, unable to face the neighbors who now greeted her with knowing smirks. Rumor has it she moved to a condo in a gated community where she's currently terrorizing the pool committee. But the legend of Super Soaker Karen lives on. On X, her memes are immortal, shared by drama lovers and HOA haters alike. Kids in Sunny Hills still tell the story, whispering about the day a neon green water gun brought down a suburban tyrant. And somewhere, in a dusty garage, that Super Soaker sits, waiting for its next adventure. So, what's the moral of this story? Maybe it's that you shouldn't take yourself too seriously, or maybe it's that flamingos are the ultimate weapon against HOA tyranny. But one thing's for sure, never underestimate a prankster with a plan, a neighborhood with a sense of humor, and a Karen with a water gun. And there you have it, folks. The wild, wet, and totally unhinged tale of Super Soaker Karen. Wasn't that plot twist insane? If you laughed, gasped, or just shook your head at Karen's antics, do me a favor, smash that like button to let me know you're loving these stories. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a single Karen meltdown. Trust me, we've got plenty more drama coming your way on HOA Karen Files. Want to keep the fun going? Drop a comment below. Have you ever dealt with a Karen who went this wild? Or maybe you've got your own HOA horror story. Spill the tea, I'm all ears. Oh, and check out our playlist for more epic Karen tales, linked in the description. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video for another dose of suburban chaos. Stay dramatic, my friends.